hurts too much when I sit too long. New hips still setting in, you know. It's just, I've kind of figured out, the more I've been seeing it going on in gyms and things like that, I've always wondered to myself, like, why the fuck are people filming, like, the people you see filming their lifts in the gym, a good majority of them, like, are putting them on social media, but a lot of them, like, and that's, like, literally a massive majority, and there's another majority, like, a small amount who are trying to, like, look at their lifts and see how they execute and get better at lifting, right? But yeah, so those people, like, I understand what they're doing. It's also not necessary a lot of the time, because you do have mirrors in here, guys, so you can just look in the mirror and get instant feedback, as opposed to, like, having to look at your phone and see what's going on. It's kind of how all of us did it for years and decades before we had cameras filming us in the gym. But I've discovered that, like, the people that are filming their lifts, like, it could be like an average girl or like competitor guy or whatever. It's like, you guys are filming lifts because you think, I don't know how to say this nicely, you're making up for lackluster physiques or developing physiques, okay? Because say you're just on your path, by showing people how strong you are, or what you did in the gym that day, and then hoping people give a fuck. But you're not showing us anything new, because all of us have fucking been here before. And we all know what to do. Like, and no one that's new is looking at your shit being like, oh, so-and-so who did this today and is a random ass motherfucker, it taught me how to do bicep curls today. And I've never ever seen another person do bicep curls. So now I know. Thank God for them putting out that video. It's just like, it's this taking pride in your lifts and, like, getting this, like, reinforcement or this positive affirmation from people, like, oh man, you're killing it. And it's like the guy's taking down 4 plates on a hack squat and fucking and their fucking friends helping them and they're screaming and stuff, and then they stand up and it's like, you don't look like you even squat that much. Like, your legs don't look like you've ever, it actually is impressive that those little twig legs could even move that weight, because those legs do not look like legs that could do that. So in that case, yes, in that instance, yes, it's impressive. But the thing is, you know what we used to do in the past? All of us that were strong and lifted big weights and all that stuff, we had muscle. So you know what our like calling card was for, like, how well we lifted? How we fucking looked. We looked like we lifted that much weight. And we were that fucking big because we did lift that much weight and we knew how to lift it properly and do all this shit. Like, there's nothing new, guys. All you guys are doing is showing how mediocre you are at developing your physique and how on point you think you are with, like, the form of it. But it's literally, you're disproving yourself as soon as you stand up from the lift. You know what I mean? Like, so if I do the shoulder press and I do it all fucked up and then I stand up and I'm like, and my shoulders are like, and I'm like, I don't have any, like, shoulder projection or, like, delts. It's like, well, yeah, okay. Like, the fuck, man? Like, stop filming your fucking self, get into the workout more and have your fucking physique and your, like, what you're doing in the gym, get credit for it by how you look. And have people come up to you like, bro, fuck, man, your back's looking huge, or like, your shoulders are like fucking boulders, like, what the fuck's with your delts, right? Like, that's where you should get your affirmation from. That's when you know you're doing well. When someone randomly says to you, especially brown guys in gas stations in Canada, the guy work behind the counter, they'll tell you right up, straight to your face, that you look great, dude. And they'll, like, wonder why they can't grow, and they'll ask you, what should I do? And then you'll tell them eat, and they'll be like, I eat. But yeah, like, it's, I think it must be this affirmation thing where it's like, I post the video, the people that follow me see it, they see that I'm progressing, they see that I'm putting so much effort into doing things right, which is commendable. You shouldn't try and do things wrong, but it's like, you're doing things right is wrong, it's off, and it's nowhere near efficient enough to build muscle, and you're moving weights that are far too heavy for you and getting little to no result from it. When if you were just literally come here and enjoyed your workout and did your job and trained properly, you would walk around and people would be like, that's a big dude. Or that chick's got great legs, or she's got great shoulders. Like, I wonder what she does. Then maybe you could be like, maybe I should show people what I do. But until then, just don't. Like, leave the fucking camera at home and don't fucking come here with a camera. It's like, you're not ready yet to fucking show people anything because you don't have anything to show them. Like, there's fucking guys in here that are this big showing us how to do like picture perfect chin-ups. Like, buddy, you're fucking 115 pounds. I could fucking kick you across the room. And you're telling me how to develop my back. Like, and it's the society we live in where we tell everybody, you've got a voice. your opinion matters, and no one can discount you or discredit you based on the way you look. No, I fucking 100% can. In this fucking space, it still reigns true. If you don't look like you know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing. Except for very, 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 very rare instances where like someone's just a really fucking good, really, really good at understanding how the body works. And even them, they've worked out and they've done well in the past. Like, it's not just like some random dude who's never touched a weight walks in here and he's like, I've calculated the proper range of this machine and it's put your elbow here. Like, they've had to do it to understand it, right? So just like, fuck, man, like if we could get more gyms to band together and fucking ban tripods, at least off the gym floor, and fucking skinny kids taking their shirts off and posing, like, the world would be a better place, man. That should be Trump's platform for running for president. Just fucking, no more tripods. No more taking your shirt off unless you're 200 pounds. It'd fucking honestly make the world a way better place. Yeah, there's another phenomenon going on, and I actually saw this on a YouTube short today. I think it was from Andrew Schultz's podcast. I don't know the name of his podcast, but he had Charlemagne on, Charlemagne the God, and they were like, it was a little clip talking about this concept that I've never heard of it before. Maybe it's like a fucking common thing. I'm just out of the fucking loop, but they're talking about recency bias. So they're basically like, they were making a comparison that like, what's up? They're making a comparison that like, oh, people don't know what they're talking about with certain things, so they just assume what they know is right because they don't understand what came prior to that. See, I mean, they were talking about actually the Kendrick Lamar and Drake fucking beef, but they're like kind of making a comparison to that basically. And it's also rings true in the bodybuilding world and in the gym world, is that whoever has the most recent, who's ever given you the most recent content seems to be the go-to for that thing. So if like this guy's out right now saying that like, oh, this is the way you should lift and this and this and this, then people are like, oh, that's the way to do it because it's the most recent, it's the newest to them. But they don't understand that like years ago, this guy said the exact same thing. And then years after that, this guy said the exact same thing. And then this guy, but now this guy here has just literally said it again. So he's the last one to say it, so therefore he must be who we should listen to or who matters because he's the last voice that said it. But literally he's ripping off like people from decades and decades ago who originated these concepts or the ideas, and he's just like taking like something he's learned, pulled it back to now and been like, look at this, guys, check this out. This is how we lift now. And like, try this. It's like, yeah, buddy tried that 40 years ago. And people train like that for nearly a decade, like constantly like that. That was like the prevailing thought of how to train. And then it fizzled out because this industry is fickle and fucking bullshit like that. And now people are like bringing it back like, oh, this is gonna be it now. Like, and a key example, and you won't know it, but people watching will, is like, if you look at people like, oh, Mike Mentzer's style of training, it's high intensity training. It's only like 2 working sets, or 2 warm-up sets and then like 1 working set. Whatever the fuck the nonsense is, who gives a shit what it is? It's fucking bullshit. If it works for people, works for people. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It won't work for everybody. But it's like, guys, just because it's new and then this young kid or whoever has now called upon this old footage of this guy talking about this and now pulled it up here, and he's like, yeah, man, it's shown to be scientifically proven that you only need this much work to hit a muscle and and all this shit. So it's like you're literally, one, discrediting the person who came up with the idea before you, and you're plagiarizing it and repackaging it as your own, and you're calling yourself a professional or like a guru in terms of lifting, which you're neither. Like, you're a hack, right? And that's literally, that happens. That's why I have an issue with like these science guys. Half the guys that are science guys have no degree or background in science, have never done any research of their own, have never been a part of any studies, do not have a degree. And all they do is cherry pick information from guys that are way smarter than them and then represent them to like, represent it to their bigger audience. So that bigger audience thinks that they're the one who came up with it. Because these people have a lesser audience, they're not as important, right? So it's like, but if you check the resume of the people behind that, like the guys that these people are stealing stuff from, you're like, holy fuck, those guys know their shit. Like, they're not just some dickhead. They're like, they put a lot of thought into this and really fucking work their ass off, right? So it's just, you guys need to stop looking at what's the latest and newest thing and go back to understanding, do what works and what's been working and will continue to work, because the shit will work for you. Not everything works for everybody. You're gonna have to play around with it. So definitely don't take someone like my word, like, oh, I train high volume and you should do this, and supersets like it's the only way to train. I would never say that to people, because I've trained, I've probably trained 3 or 4 different styles of training in my life, defined styles that I can think of, like throughout playing football, after football, getting into bodybuilding, like, and now I am evolved to where I am now. So I've developed that style over time. That doesn't mean that I discredit the styles that I tried before what I do now, because all it is now it's an amalgamation of all the stuff I did before, and now I have it in a package and like basically in a box where I can control the variables. I know what doesn't work, what does work for me, and I can like take out tools as I need and use them as I want to use them, right? And that's the goal for everybody. So don't listen to one voice. If there's anything I can tell you, don't listen to one voice, especially the newest voice or the most popular voice, because odds are it's fucking bullshit, most of it. So
has people ever done that with your footage?
Yeah, they take my footage all the time.
And then just
there's literally, and the guys that are doing it out there, I don't really take offense to it. Like I'm not gonna be mad about it, because my whole reasoning of putting stuff on YouTube and making it free for people and just giving information, like that's why I do with videos I want to do. I don't do videos people tell me to do. I don't have a fucking storyboard. I don't fucking plan my videos out. But like the guys that are like emulating me or kind of copying me or taking ideas I have and kind of rewording them and like re-showing them, it's a form of flattery, because I mean I want good information to be passed on to people. So like if you're gonna take my information and pass it along, and as long as you're not butchering it and like fucking making it look completely fucking stupid, then yeah, like there's specific individuals I can think of who've done that, but like I also have they have a lot of respect for me, and I have a lot of respect for them, and like there's no way to help people or to create change in an industry without other people seeing what you're doing and thinking that it works and trying it themselves, right? And wanting to pass that information on. It's not a matter of like I don't want to hold information hostage. And the guys who shout me out, a lot of the guys who I shouldn't say copy, they just kind of like, they kind of expand on what I do, or they add to it. They give me credit. So it's not like they're like trying to be sneaky about it. And I'll give credit to people that I see do stuff like Brandon Ray, or I could see like Hypertrophy Coach or whatever. I could see like any of these guys do an exercise and be like, man, it makes sense. That's how we should all learn. That's how we should all get better. As opposed to like having these camps of people like so-and-so says this and he says this and this guy says this. Oh, they must hate each other. It's like, you don't hate anybody for the way they work out. Why the fuck? I got fucking better shit to do, dude. Like at some point though, you have to like dismiss some people like fucking Ben Yanes and these fucking kind of like, these guys are on the fringe. They're like far right extremists. You know what I mean? Like they're white supremacists like in the world of like, you're like, whoa buddy, like this is fucking pretty nuts what you're doing here. All of us are kind of understanding what's going on. Like you're way out there. Like you're fucking going ape shit, right? So as long as you're staying within that range and everyone's trying to like drive their point home, we're all basically saying the same shit. We're all just packaging it in different ways. And my shit, the only reason why my shit is so much different than most people's shit is because I encourage so much movement. I encourage movement, and I understand transferring of weight, and I understand momentum, and whether it's like that pisses people off, or that kind of gets me in the bad books with all the rigid guys who are like, hold your posture and tight, right? So it gets me in trouble with them, because I'm literally going against what they're saying completely, which I understand. I would argue with them all day, and they would argue with me. But that doesn't mean either one of us is right or wrong. It's just different styles of doing shit. But I guarantee you my style's better.
Someone also asked why you never do core workouts.
I was gonna say something smart ass, but I won't. It's not that I don't do core workouts. I just don't show what I'm doing, because I don't believe it to be something that's so fucking monumental. There's a lot of people out there. My core workout is like elementary at best. I just do like standing rope or standing cable curls and rock over. I do some like rotational stuff. But I mean, like for me to like be like, oh, these are the ways that I do core. It's like, it's not gonna be anything you guys haven't seen before. And it's not gonna be like, oh, Mike does this, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna like, it's like, I don't have these like chiseled fucking washboard etched out fucking oblique abs. You know what I mean? Like I just don't care. So Like I train core people don't understand too, when you train core, when you train properly and you elevate sternum and you're arching your back or setting your chest up or doing all these things and rising, my core is having to activate to keep me in that position. There's no way I can even sit here posturally and sit up like this tall if I didn't have some control of my core. Like, yeah, it might not be hard right now, but it's like I'm elevating my sternum, I'm pulling myself up. That takes core strength to do that. Or I'd be like, everywhere I go, I'd just be like looking at you, like I can't hold myself up and get up and like walk over here. Like my core has to work, right, guys? So I don't, unless you're majorly deficient, which some people are, even then, it's not a matter of doing abs. It's not about doing crunches. It's about getting an understanding of like your lower body connecting to your upper body, and there's some type of cross wired there. So like they're not communicating. So when you lift your leg, or you're in a compromised position, I try and lift my leg to my opposite leg, or I try to bring my knee to my opposite knee, like these things called dead beetles. You bring your hand to your knee and reach back and hand your knee. It's because you're sending signals across the body that like this part works with this part. And that's what most people have a problem with. It's not ab development. It's the fact that they feel instability here because they haven't understood how to lock down on stuff. They also haven't understood that like their feet up creates tension into their core. So if I have my feet in the ground and I'm set here, I'm also set here. It's not like my feet are on the ground, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I'm ready to go. It's like, no, everything's ready to move as one piece. So like my oblique pushes this foot, I drive, you know what I mean? So to focus on stuff I really don't think is necessary unless you have some type of like massive imbalance. Like you literally like are fucking completely fucked and you need to like do physio type work. So you'll never see a core video from me. So feel free to check out fucking dipshit number 1's channel and dipshit number 2's channel, fucking swinging off a fucking bar, like rotating their, like doing these prison style workouts of fucking like chin ups off like fucking stoplights or some shit, who fucking knows. Like follow those dudes and definitely do all that stuff if you want, waste an hour of your life.